Presidency says there will be no such ceremonies as condolence visits. Well-meaning friends, family members and the general public are advised to pray for the repose of the late Chief of Staff. Nigeria has lost a great man, a key figure in the present administration's cabinet. Before his death, he was the Chief of Staff to President Muhammadu Buhari. In this report, Adebola Brooksland Sunday takes a look at the life and times of the man, Abba Kyari. Okay, that report is not ready yet, but we'll definitely bring you in the course of the bulletin. But let's look at other tribute by well-meaning Nigerians. President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, has received with shock and sadness the news of the passing on of the Chief of Staff to the President, Malam Abba Kyari. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ola Awoni, Senator Lawan expressed his heartfelt condolence to Malam Kyari's family over the great loss. The Senate President also condoled with President Muhammadu Buhari over the loss of Malam Kyari, a very competent, dedicated and loyal aide who was a pillar in his administration. Lawan extended his heartfelt sympathy to the government and people of Borno State over the passage of a great son of the state. Lawan said Malam Kyari drew from his experiences as a lawyer who was called to the bar in 1983, a banker and a journalist, to become an administrator par excellence who did his best as the topmost aide of the president. Similarly, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has described as shocking and sad the passing away of the Chief of Staff to the President, Malam Abba Kyari. Gbajabiamila said it was unfortunate that Abba Kyari died as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is now ravaging countries all over the world. In a statement signed by his Special Advisor, Media and Publicity, Larry Lasisi, the Speaker said Kyari would be remembered for his selfless and dedicated service to Nigeria, noting that Kyari died while serving the country as he contracted the disease during his trip to Germany in March on a national assignment. Gbajabiamila extended his condolences to President Muhammadu Buhari for this loss, stating that the deaths of Malam Abba Kyari and other Nigerians at this time call for us all to rise as a nation, fight the COVID-19 pandemic in every possible way we can. He prayed Almighty God to grant the Chief of Staff and other Nigerians that died as a result of this pandemic a good resting place. In a related development, the All Progressives Congress mourns the death of Malam Abba Kyari, Chief of Staff and one of the closest advisors to President Muhammadu Buhari. The party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Issa Unilu, says even in death, the fond memories and indelible strides Malam Abba Kyari left on earth will be celebrated for a long time. The APC remember late Abba Kyari as a cerebral Nigerian who excelled in his private dealings, professional endeavors and public service. The president, the statement added, has indeed lost a competent, trusted, loyal, strong right-hand man and long-term advisor who prompted, protected and defended his interests in good times and adversity. The party condoles with Malam Abba Kyari's immediate family, the president, leaders and members of the All Progressives Congress and the people and government of Borno State over the painful loss. As Malam Abba Kyari is buried according to Islamic rites, may Almighty Allah be merciful and grant him a Jannat Firdaus, the APC prayed. Also, the People's Democratic Party has described the death of the Chief of Staff to the President, Malam Abba Kyari, as depressing and saddening. A statement from the party's National Publicity Secretary, Kola Ologbodiyan, comforts President Muhammadu Buhari, the Kyari's family, the government and people of Borno State and the nation at large for this painful loss and prays that the Almighty Allah grants Malam Abba Kyari eternal rest. The PDP similarly commiserates with families of all the victims of COVID-19 and prays for the speedy recovery of the sick who are receiving treatment in various isolation centers. And and the Arole Odudwa and Oni of Ife, Oni Adeyeye, Eniton Ogunwusi, Ojaja II, has described the death of Chief of Staff to the President of Nigeria, Malam Abba Kyari, as an unfortunate surprise. The Oni expressed this through his Director of Media and Public Affairs, Comrade Moses Olafare, in a statement released at the early hours of Saturday. The Oni described late Kyari as a cool-headed fine gentleman and great respecter of traditional institutions who had, until his death, handled his position as a public servant with dignity and dedication arising from his fervent belief in and his incorruptible patriotism to the Nigerian project. The Oni also prayed for the souls of the thousands of victims already killed by the coronavirus pandemic around the world and charged the Nigerian citizens to keep the rules and regulations already set by the government as measures to combat the pandemic, describing it as a ruthless enemy of humanity. Let's bring you update on latest COVID-19. Confirmed cases of coronavirus moved up to 493 in the country after 51 new infections were recorded on Friday as at 10 minutes past 10 p.m. Information from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, shows of the 51 new cases recorded, 32 are in Lagos, 6 in Kano, 5 in Kwara, and 2 in the FCT. 2 cases each in Oyo and Katsina, while Ogun and Ekiti each recorded 1 case. Deaths from COVID-19 currently stands at 17, while a total of 159 persons have been discharged. Let's take a break. We're back shortly, so please stay tuned. Many thanks for staying with us. Let's now join Kaduna for the continuation of Panorama, and Abdullahi Muhammad will lead us. Abdullahi.
Thank you, Ruth. And we'll start from a report from ABU Teaching Hospital Zaria. In response to the challenges of the coronavirus pandemic, the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital in Zaria is making efforts to expand and improve its facilities to accommodate emergencies that may arise in respect of the disease. Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Professor Ahmed Hamidu, stated this while receiving the member representing Sabangari constituency at the House of Representatives, Garbadet Babao, on an assessment visit to the facility. Let's now join Tina Toro, who was there.
Facilities targeted under this intervention initiative include the proposed isolation center currently being upgraded, solar energy inverters also experiencing expansion and upgrade, and refurbishment of 2 ambulances, among other projects.
We actually have an EPID response unit in ABU. So it's a committee that to manage cases of like this, pandemics like this, taking the appropriate measures, and it's the same thing we're doing for the COVID-19. Although the federal government has designated us as a treatment center, we are working towards that.
Garbadet Babao, who expressed satisfaction with work done so far, offered financial assistance to the hospital.
I donated the money for the rehabilitation of these ambulances, and also some wards that were renovated, and lights, inverters were installed, so they now have 24 hours of light, particularly in the branch of this ABU Teaching Hospital. That's the old hospital in Tudun, Zaria.
The hospital has been selected by the federal government as one of the COVID-19 testing centers. In Zaria, Tina Toro, NTA News.
Thank you, Tina. The conditional cash transfer of the National Social Investment Program has rescued over 22,000 households in Kaduna State from extreme poverty, especially with the quarantine law preventing them from venturing out in search of routine means of livelihood. Majamaru Adamu captures some of the moods that the poor and vulnerable receive life-changing interventions.
It came at a time of dire need to inject hope and sense of belonging to the poor and vulnerable in the society. At a time, all doors to their routine means of livelihood have been closed in response to the coronavirus pandemic. The Conditional Cash Transfer Program, which took off as pilot project in 37 primary health care facilities in 9 states, has then afforded women and the most vulnerable in the society the opportunity to earn 5,000 naira monthly stipend by attending antenatal care, skill delivery, and postnatal care programs. In Kaduna State, the beneficiaries were drawn from 9 out of the 23 local government areas of the state, and so far over 22,000 persons have benefited, some of them now certain in their ability to reshape their destinies.
I go sell market, they buy firewood, motor, they sell for my house, they get money, they chop, they feed my children. So I thank God, the person who come out this money, God go bless them. I feel happy. I'm happy now, get food for my house to eat. So I thank them who give me, I thank God who give us.
Hawa Braza, who is the unit head of Conditional Cash Transfer Office in Kaduna State, says the program has reduced poverty in the short term and has helped to increase household income and consumption in poor families.
They are into various trades. Some of them have formed cooperative society, they have group businesses, some have their own individual businesses in their own community.
Experts also observe that the program has served effectively in increasing school enrollment and retention, especially in primary schools. The Conditional Cash Transfer Program aims at reducing poverty by encouraging enterprise among receivers often keying into the scheme. In Kaduna, Majama Adamu, NTA News.
And in continuation with Panorama, I have with me here in the studio an economist, Abdullahi Abubakar Gondu, who's going to tell us his take on this issue. Abdullahi Gondu, welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam Abdullahi.
What's your take? First of all, let's just take a look at the program itself. What's your take?
Well, palliative generally is an intervention program, the objective of which is aimed at targeting the vulnerable, the real poor, people affected by a particular calamity, and in most cases, those that cannot meet an end meet. So essentially, it aims at reducing the pressure, psychological tension, and you see it also focus on bringing a form of economic balance among the people. So that's what palliative is all about. And for this one that government is giving, when you look at the situation we are in now with this COVID pandemic, there's a restriction on movement. People are more or less quarantined together unofficially. Everybody is at home. Greater majority of Nigerians are on daily income. They have to go out. They have to hustle and struggle to get an end meet on daily basis. And these people are asked to stay at home. And even before this time, Nigerians are generally struggling, facing a lot of hardship and challenges. So this palliative that is being given to them, it's targeting people that are extremely poor, at least to make people more organized, to feel belong, to feel that government care for them. And essentially, when you look at an economic angle, there'll be a lot of money in circulation, and people will feel cared for, and at least they have something to stand on and put food on the mouth and take care of the family.
Looking at the fact that this initiative is directly coming to take care of issues of poverty, and this time around there's even a kind of a multiplication in the amount that's been given to this household. What is also the take of economists on that aspect?
Well, it's even beyond kind of it's an emergency solution. Emergency situation to offer a solution to a critical problem, and that is why the need for tripling or even multiplying the money over about 4 times. Prior to that, they are being given 5,000 each, and now it has been increased to 20,000
at a go.
At a go, and you can see 20,000 is good money to a poor. Probably people at the level of average and above average may think that it's not a money, but it's a good money to those downtrodden. It's a big money to those at lower end of the cadre. And given this money, many of them will be able to buy food and eat. Many of them will be able to get balance in the house, get themselves organized. And even some have little balance out of the money to invest on small businesses that will empower them. So if government can sustain this, and there will be resources to even expand it, I think it will make life better for those at the lower level of the economic society.
I wanted to come to that aspect to ask you, in the very near future, what is the expectation in terms of expansion and also other things that you think need to be added to it, so that, especially that those people will be encouraged to start businesses, so that, after them, they are out of poverty, some other people will also, be put into, because so far about 2.6 million households, has been touched across the country. And again, there's plan for another million and even more.
I expect it to be a kind of rolling program, something that will turn around. By the time some are out, some are coming in. But essentially, they need to conduct a proper census, take a map, do a survey of people that are actually poor, get statistics and actual record, and they should incorporate the kind of what NDE is doing, a form of training to these people. Because it's not just enough to give somebody money to say, go and do business, go and start a small business. Many of those at that level don't even know the type of business to do. So they need orientation, they need training, and they need to expand it and capture as many people as possible from that level. And I think if that is done, it will alleviate most of the social pressure that we are facing. Some of the small crimes that country is facing, I think, will be eliminated.
Many thanks, Abdullah Gondu.
Thank you very
we
much.
really appreciate you coming to Panorama this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Abdullah.
Moving on now with the growing cases of Nigerians who have been treated for coronavirus and discharged. The Presidential Task Force says the recovery rates indicate that the infection is not a death sentence. 1 month after the inauguration of the task force, its chairman and secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, says Nigerians should keep faith with the fight against the pandemic, as there is more work to be done. Let's now link up to Kyari, who has details of this report. Kyari.
Talk of Nigeria's fight against coronavirus 1 month after its inauguration, the Presidential Task Force believes its strategy of a single national response has been instrumental to increase national capacity for testing, treatment, and management of the pandemic.
This is a war with a vicious enemy, and our goal is to ultimately flatten the curve. Recent data released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control has shown a rise in the number of cases in Kano. The Presidential Task Force will visit the state to evaluate the state of readiness and to guide the authorities in the management of the situation.
Infected persons need not hide themselves at home until their condition deteriorates, that they have to be rushed to the hospital in critical state. Some among the fatalities we have had may have been saved if they presented earlier rather than at the last minute.
Our plan is to decentralize testing completely, improve the turnaround times at state levels by 50%.
The task force, however, warns purveyors of fake news and misleading content on social media to refrain from jeopardizing efforts to flatten the curve of the pandemic.
Please listen to the NCDC. Listen to the Ministry of Health. Listen to the World Health Organization. Don't be misled by anybody.
People that are within states that are under lockdown are strongly advised to stay where they are and to stop moving out of these states.
As the 2-week extension of the restriction order in Abuja, Lagos and Ogun states affords the Nigeria Center for Disease Control time to intensify contact tracing, sample collection and testing for coronavirus, government agencies and private bodies involved in distributing palliatives were advised to stick to the rules of social distancing. In Abuja, Kyari, NTA News.
And from Abuja, we'll link up to Kano now, where Mohammed Rabiu Ali is standing by to tell us or give us a kind of a sense of what is happening there, where he said streets are deserted and markets also. Mohammed Rabiu Ali, talk to us.
The rise in cases of COVID-19 pandemic in Kano necessitates Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje to lock down the state, a step to prevent the spread of the disease. This is the busiest state road in the heart of the metropolis. Now it is deserted as a result of the lockdown. Murtala Muhammad Way, Zaria, and ever-busy Ibrahim Tire roads are all now empty. NTA camera lens try to figure out defaulters on major roads, but efforts to no avail. The situation is the same at Kantinkwari Market, Sabangari, and Singa, which are all under lock and key. A situation that seems to be critical.
Currently, based on our observations, our supervisions to the various points and cities in the state, people are obeying these orders. Not even within the town, the main city, even all other villages within the state.
And this shows that the lockdown mood is activated. Mohammed Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Mohammed Rabiu Ali. And back in Kaduna State, in Jama local government, Emir of Jama, Al-Hajj Muhammadu Isa Muhammadu has enjoined Nigerians to strictly adhere to social distancing measures and proper hygiene to prevent further spread of COVID-19 in the country. The Emir made the appeal during a meeting with community leaders in his palace. Suleiman Abdullahi Rugachikun packaged this report.
It is a meeting of district and village heads, youth groups, and heads of security agencies in Jama Emirate. For the Emir, it is a platform to reawaken his people on the dangers associated with coronavirus pandemic and ways to prevent its spread, while calling on them to avoid social and religious gatherings at this moment. The Emir also called for cooperation with security agencies saddled with the responsibility of enforcing the lockdown order.
We pray for quick recovery for people who are affected. We are calling on people to abide by preventive measures.
Area Commander of the Nigeria Police, Elad Ibrahim, and other speakers expressed appreciation to God that no single case has so far been recorded in the area, hence called for sustained efforts to prevent the importation of the virus into the area. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachku, NTA News.
As cases of coronavirus arise by the day in neighboring Abuja and Kano State, the Kaduna State government has identified locations at entry point to quarantine passengers coming into the state. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports that the State Deputy Governor Hadiza Balarabe inspected one of the facilities, reiterating government resolve to prevent its spread in the city of Kaduna and neighboring local government areas.
Located about 20 kilometers away from Kaduna city center along the Kaduna-Abuja highway, the facility is equipped to accommodate travelers for 2 weeks to observe their health status before they are considered fit for entry or not into the state. The Deputy Governor says 17 entry points have been identified and will be provided with such facilities.
It's our responsibility to make sure that we keep our people safe, and whatever it is that we think we need to do, we will do it.
The message here is very clear. The state government will not take chances and allow others add to the existing number of COVID-19 in the state. So if you are a traveler, avoid Kaduna State or risk 2 weeks in the observation camp. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
That's the warning here in Kaduna State. Many thanks, Muhammad Umar Ajingian. With that report, we end Panorama from the Kaduna Network Center. My name is Abdullah Mohammed, and from the crew here, thanks for staying with us. Bye.
Fake news and report circulating, especially on social media, on the coronavirus. Do not believe or partake in the spread of these fake reports. If it is not on the official website or news from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, disregard such report. Only together can we beat this virus. Only together can we overcome this pandemic. Follow the instructions and guidelines provided to combat this virus. Most importantly, stay at home. Self-isolate, regardless of your status. The virus doesn't move unless we move. Let us work together to better Nigeria. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.